your kids, are they going to know that he and I busted our ass for this? Like, I may sound selfish, but I need them to know.
Mm-hmm. I think they should.
And I said, it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
And independent of who your partner is, it's your responsibility to pass on the knowledge. Because you could get married into something and then you're still coming in with something.
Yeah.
So it's your responsibility. You can't leave it to your partner to pass on the knowledge. You need to pass on the knowledge. And that's not it's really you.
Yeah.
And then your kids, they need to learn from you and then pass it down so that they know. Because you know what? In the wealthy families, and I'm particularly speaking of like families that are in Greenwich, Connecticut, this part of the region, they know the knowledge. A lot of those kids, they know it from young.
Yes, because they're teaching them. First of all,
they're involved
in a lot of the process. Like they're there to actually see it first.
Yeah, and they see the picture that they just they're on the wall.
Welcome to another episode of Not Yo Avg Aunties podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Key.
And I'm Jay, where we keep it real, raw, and relatable,
while sharing our experiences,
our opinions, and our feelings.
Yes. So, what are we talking about today, ladies? Are we talking about
money?
I mean, that's shmoney.
Well, I guess if we wanted to say it in a more elegant way.
Okay.
Generational wealth. Yes.
Wait, not with the pinky.
Yes, with the pinky.
So generational wealth in the many forms that it comes in, and just our thoughts around it. Do you believe in leaving generational wealth with conditions?
Yes, I would.
Oh, you just jump right in. Bam. You just jump right out, knock you out. Boom. Okay.
You got to encourage the responsibility piece of it. You can't just have it handed to you. You have to show that you're going to put in work to sustain and maintain the wealth when I pass it to you, or if I decide to pass it to you.
Yeah, but I think that should be education before we even get to that point. Like, you should be talking about that beforehand. Because once you're going. You ain't going to know what the hell they did with that shit, whether they followed your rules or not.
That's why it's called conditioning.
Okay.
The question was with conditions.
With conditions.
Yes.
So for sure. Okay. So let's talk about, like, do we want to define it? I don't know if you want to define it.
Go ahead. Let's get a definition up in there.
The concept of generational wealth can be complex, and opinions on leaving wealth to beneficiaries often vary widely. Here are some perceptions or perceptives on topics, including potential concerns about leaving everything to your heirs.
Okay. So if we break that down, that's basically you build a nest egg, you build something, you worked all your life, you build some stuff, and you leaving assets.
Yes.
To someone, i.e. your kids or whomever. I guess this speaks into what you just mentioned. The question I have is, what does generational wealth mean beyond just the money piece? And that is a little bit what you're saying in terms of
it comes with responsibility
and education, in terms of them knowing, okay, so I have this asset, whether it's a home, whatever it is, a business,
a trust,
but now I got to figure out or understand the responsibility and making sure I don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Right. So that then I could pass it down. So it could be, because then it becomes generational.
I'm looking at it this way. If it's responsibility, you as an adult, you're old enough now to understand the importance of what's about to be left with you. Regardless if you have the education piece of whether it be investing in the property, how you did it prior to handing it over. It has to be the person, and knowing that person is responsible enough to handle passing on generational wealth.
Okay, so you're saying,
because you got some who are, they're not responsible. They're careless with money. They spend. They just reckless in whatever decisions and things that they make. So you know that they're not going to be responsible enough, even if they were educated, to do the or be able to handle the responsibility of what you're about to give them. So even with education, you have people that are still not responsible enough to handle it.
So you need to put certain conditions in place to ensure
That it
they
gets
don't
past
screw it
them.
up. They don't mess
Exactly.
it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because if they haven't been responsible their whole life,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be responsible.
Responsible now.
Yeah, I get that.
Mhm.
I mean, now there are situations where a tragic event or something like this will get that person to finally realize that, damn, I really need to wake up. So, but that doesn't happen all the time. That's wishful thinking, and there are rare situations where that will happen,
Mhm.
where you got someone who's been living life carefree, not a care in the world,
Mhm.
doesn't want no type of responsibility, and then this happens, and it's like something clicked in their head, and they're actually the most responsible person in the room
Sometimes.
because of that
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
But few and far in between.
So I guess, are you of the mindset that do you think that parents should leave everything to their kids? Or should they donate some stuff? Or like, what are your thoughts on that?
I would donate some.
Well, I
depending
mean,
on how
not
much.
you per se. I'm just parents and people in general, like just parents.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that shows.
So you should leave everything to your kids, or would you split it? Like, do you think people should do that? Like, what are your
I
thoughts
think
on
we believe you should split it. I think
that amongst the
you'll
children?
not. Yeah, by that time you'll know who can handle what. But the responsibility piece of maintaining all of it, it may not be able to get split. There's always going to be that one, and that opens up Pandora's box to other feelings and stuff that's going to come out of that. But as long as you start having those conversations now with them, letting them know that, this is how it's going to be when that time comes, to get them to get used to the idea, that may ease your decision in who you chose. But 9 times out of 10, stuff like this, it brings out the ugliness, and even after you're gone.
Yeah. So I definitely think about splitting. Well, I have 3, so it's going to be 33.3. The 1% going to get donated because it can't be 34, 33, 33. Right? So I thought about that because I'm like, 3, how do you at least put 100% 3 because 3 people and it'd be evenly split or whatever. So I said I'm going to donate one. I have a cause in mind, through family impacts and stuff like that that I strongly feel like I would like to support. So, I mean, it could be 1% today, maybe a little bit more. Who knows? Right now, I'm just thinking about the formulation of 100% right now with 3 kids, right?
Mhm.
In terms of leaving stuff behind, it's more than just like, I think there's conversations that should also happen. So we think about generational wealth. Generational wealth is finances, it's assets, it's physical assets like homes, property, and stuff like that. So yeah, jewelry, all that kinds of things like that. Some of your surviving adults or those who are going to benefit from all the things that you acquired in your life may not want to have the responsibility of running your business, right? So I think there should be like conversations, like really know who's really interested in taking on this piece of what you're going to hand down to them.
Agreed.
Because they may not want that responsibility, and they may not do it well. So outside of them, about you adding conditions on because you don't trust that they're going to do it, they may not even be interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having the conversation is key, particularly if you are moving in a direction that may not be the norm of what people would have thought you would move in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that more of us, and when I mean by us, I mean like Black folk, we need to set up trust. We need to set up. It needs to be more. If you have assets, I think it should be more than just a will. Okay, I can't just. Yeah, you gotta set up a trust, and you have to also It's not just about setting up the trust, but it's also about, to your point, having those discussions and saying, okay, I am giving this to this person, and here's the reason why. And I think sometimes people shy away from that second part because they don't want to be caught up in the argument.
Or the favoritism.
It says that whoever perceives what,
don't trust me.
Yeah. And they don't want to have that. So they tend to just make the decisions behind the scenes. And at the end of the day, trust is great, but it still causes turmoil. And even if the person does know and is aware, because there's been instances too where the person is fully aware of what goes where, and you can't help
That's
them.
why
They're still gonna have a way about it. But I think still the discussions, just so everybody knows what's happening. So there's no
same page. There's no like I didn't know about this. I didn't hear this. I mean, people who still have selective memory and stuff. So it happens. It's having a conversation. I think you got to do it so many different ways now today, because back then the will was a thing, right? Yeah. As we all know today, wills is not just it, because those could be contested. You still got to go through probate and all that stuff. Where a trust, a living trust, and I think what's the other one's one? It's another one.
Irrevocable trust.
So there's certain things you have to, and it also protects the people that saying things are being left too. So
all those things are important conversations to have. And I think as we start, to build the wealth that we have, like we, want to buy houses, want to build businesses or whatever it is, I think it's just important to have those discussions. Now, equally, I keep harping on the knowledge piece of it, because I think, and I agree with you, even if you have the knowledge, sometimes you can't be responsible. But I think it's important to share the knowledge, because sometimes people don't do that either. Like they're like, okay, here you go, gifting you this, and you don't share the knowledge, and then
or the why,
or the guys or whatever, and then it's a problem. I think the culture piece, I think that too, it gets lost. People think of generational wealth as just like assets, but I think I look at it from a cultural perspective, like understanding your history, understanding that, you know what, like when I go, my husband and I, and if we go, then my kids, I'll probably may not, kids. Yeah, I might not never see them, but I need them. And maybe I
eat
know,
good, you just might.
So there. But I think I need them to know that you have these things because me and your great grandfather bust our ass for this. So I think that knowledge sometimes is not always shared or passed down, and then they forget, so they just be inheriting like a trust fund baby or whatever, and they don't have. They're so this is what we want. We want to build this stuff so they don't struggle. We want to build this stuff so they, but then they get to the point where they don't understand. This is just the norm.
Continue it.
Right.
Because I had a note here, breaking the cycle, teaching wealth, building skill versus just the money behind. And that's exactly what you're speaking to.
Definitely. It's really essential. And I think, I don't know. I don't remember if I told you this, but we were all out to dinner with my family, and I was sitting down saying, like, your kids, are they going to know that he and I busted our ass for this? Like, I may sound selfish, but I need them to know.
I think they should.
And I said, it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
And independent of who your partner is, it's your responsibility to pass on the knowledge. Because you could get married into something, and then you're still coming in with something.
Yeah.
So it's your responsibility. You can't leave it to your partner to pass on the knowledge. You need to pass on the knowledge. And that's not it's really you. Yeah. And then your kids, they need to learn from you and then pass it down so that they know. Because you know what? In the wealthy families, and I'm particularly speaking of like families that are in Greenwich, Connecticut, this part of the region, they know the knowledge. A lot of those kids, they know it from young.
Yes. Because they're teaching them. First of all,
they're
involved in a lot of the process. Like they're there to actually see it. And they see the picture that they're on the wall.
They didn't have the picture in the dining room or the library.
They're in the boardrooms early.
Right.
They're experiencing those yacht vacations, of course.
They get
country or whatever.
So we have to be less, because a lot of times we tend to, as Black folk, we tend to hush. Don't, you can't know how I did this.
You don't have to talk about money in our culture, period.
Unless you're trying to be flashy. Which the younger generation does that. I don't think our generation does that as much. The younger generation, they want to walk around with a whole bunch of money, and like it's for show.
But they do it, I was going to say, because it's not from a knowledge experience. It's not for sharing knowledge. It's for showing off and be profiling. So it's be different.
But sharing knowledge, I grew up in a time where it wasn't shared.
You don't want nobody else about it.
I wasn't in that situation where it was being shared.
Right.
You had to pick it up as you go along.
Right. Our parents
they didn't want to talk about it because they were worried about you going to do something to them.
Yeah.
They kept it close to the chest.
So I didn't get to where I was like, they do something. Like,
knock you out.
Yes.
Oh,
that's Them old folks back then, as you notice, they never talked about anything when it came down to finances. They kept it to the chicks.
In our culture only, or just
I know because
I don't think it's just in our culture, but it
depends on the family. Because my grandfather,
that's why I say dadly.
you didn't get
I
that. But
didn't
my
get
grandfather,
exposed to that.
he was beating me in the head, not physically. He was, Poppy was good, but he would basically, since I was like 4, I remember him coming home and sitting down, and he would be like, "You gotta save your money when you." I'm like 4 or 5 years old, like, but he would drill it in. So get your money, you get paid.
That's the part that kept
was that from a
generational
generational wealth mindset or a scarcity mindset?
It's interesting. I don't know. Let me think about it. Let me sit with that for a minute and try to I don't know if I have an answer immediately, but his thing, because he was also an entrepreneur, I don't know if it was scarcity. I don't know, because he would spend, he would definitely spend, but he was also good with his cash too. So I'm not really sure. I think it was just more so along the lines of building,
save your money,
teaching me
the value of
every piece you got is a piece of your freedom that you don't have to deal with nonsense, So I think it was more along that, and I is even they say, even when you expose your kid to something like that, whether I understood it at that age or not, because he was hammering at home, and then take that, and then my grandmother hammering, God bless the child that has his own, make sure you keep your own account, and this and this and that, even when you start dating. And I'm 10 now, dated, what you talking about? And she was like, don't let no man do da. So then it became a thing where, okay, you may not get it. Your kid may not get it at that time. But you see, I'm about to be 50. I still remember that shit. And then I carry those things with me. So and that was on my father's side of the family. Now on my mama's side of the family, it's a little bit different. Yeah. It's a little bit different.
I think about it, so my grandfather, who we talked about, was like a father figure to me. He was like, save your money. Don't spend more than you can afford. And don't borrow more than you can afford to pay back. When you start getting credit cards and something like that, don't borrow more than you can afford to pay back. If I had to guess, it was from a little bit of a scarcity mindset, because here's a man that's come into a family of 8 kids that ran out his, and then them having their own together. But he's the one making the money. My grandmother had stopped working at that point, so she was a homemaker. So she worked at home. Then my great-grandmother and my great-grandfather, her thing was, you only keep a certain amount of money in the bank. She was a mattress person.
I was about to talk about
her and my uncle both. They didn't keep a lot of money in the bank, and nobody knew what her income was. And she was so she had wound up getting hurt and had, fallen down, because she would, let me tell you, she'd get up, go do her thing, go to the bank, take care of her banking, take all her cash out, whatever went into that account, take most of it out, only leave a certain amount in, go pay her bills, still paid her bills in cash or whatever have you, and then the rest of it went home with her into a safe or her mattress or wherever she kept it at. And nobody knew what her income was. So she was don't talk about money. Like you said, don't talk about money.
I'm coming from where my father, as I said,
he's older.
25. 1925 was when he was born. So he was always about me saving money, but it was never in the bank.
Right.
And for years, up until I want to say 15, I stopped keeping. I keep a rainy day fund, but a lot of my savings I would always keep. And I actually thought that worked for me, because when I was saving and bought the house, I was able to save $33,000 in a year. And that was for me pulling the money out of the bank, because you got to get the direct deposit from your job. But that whole check I was taking out of the bank and bringing it home and keeping it somewhere.
And because we didn't know, had you kept it in the bank,
I think
they had that knowledge. I'm learning now.
They told us to put it in the mattress.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't believe in banks, trust the banks.
We don't want y'all putting none in mattresses now, right? And I think it's a couple of things, right? So making sure that you have a high yield savings account, and also I would venture to say educate yourself along the lines of the stock market or any investing opportunities, so that a portion of your check you could do fractional shares,
which I'm doing now.
Because listen, I'm just telling you right now, if you do your research and find companies that you can actually invest in, that can be a nest egg. So that way, when you go through times like this, when people are getting laid off in masses, you have that little thing that you've been doing. Yeah. And next thing you know, you look at the account, you're like, woo, I have half of your salary.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you have that cushion that you can work with. So you have to diversify, and that just helps with building wealth. Yeah.
But that's the education piece.
Yeah.
That's generational wealth right there.
Yeah.
We didn't have, like, some of us didn't have that because our parents didn't have that, and your parents didn't have that.
Yeah.
You know,
My mom, she has insurance policies, and she's getting residual now.
that was another way back then.
But she kept all that to the chest. She's just now starting to tell me how she picked the insurance that she has and why she did it. But up until now,
they keep everything
to the chest.
Yeah, they keep everything.
So if I had known I knew getting insurance was important. Yeah, I just didn't know what kind of insurance and things like that. I had to learn all of this on my own. And now that I'm talking with her, bits and pieces that I've picked up, she's, I guess, confirming.
Yeah.
Because people thought of insurance as to help bury your loved one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another thing. And you don't have to tell nobody. Yeah.
They don't have that. Yeah.
People don't have it. And some people take out insurance. Some people don't even tell them. And then when they croak, don't get me started on some. Then when they croak, then they don't even want to tell the family. But meanwhile, you done had the Social Security and took the insurance policy out, and now you cashing out on that check. And meanwhile, the family's suffering trying to bury their loved one. I ain't naming no names or nothing, but yeah, that happens. That happens for sure. Dirty mother. Anyway, sorry. I just don't think that's right. But it happens. People, there's always going to be some bad eggs, and it happens. But what do you think the pros or cons are of pros or cons of a trust fund baby?
As I brought up in the beginning, they feel like they shouldn't have to work. Once they get this money, is like, I got all this money, I can do whatever I want. They don't think there's any type of work behind keeping it and sustaining the money that was given to you. So now all the money is gone within a year or two. Now what?
Yeah, let's say they don't think it's ever going to run out.
No.
Or they're not
They've been lazy.
They're not leveraging it the way it's supposed to be leveraged. So it's not just for you to just go and just sit on your laurels and do nothing. Like, you still should be pursuing your own career, pursuing your own financial means. This is something that was, you did something that, right, you didn't earn it. You didn't have to get,
this wasn't your money. Right. I decided to leave it to you.
Right.
But you have individuals, or just people in general, especially this generation. I ain't got to do nothing. My parents is going to give me this.
Yeah. You do have people like that. So with that being said, so before my next question, that's a con. And are there any pros to trust fund babies?
I think the ones who know how to use it the right way
can maintain it, and make you proud.
Yeah. And know how to continue it on to their generation and to leave it, because I think some people do set it up in a way where this is for you to take care of you. If I have grandchildren, maybe they had grandchildren before they even left this earth, that the grandchildren also benefit from this trust fund as well. So, but I think there are people who, they know how to do the right thing, and they know have this sense of entitlement attitude about life. I think they'll do the right thing.
And with all the knowledge,
they'll do the right thing. Yeah.
With all the knowledge that's out there, they may pick up some things that you didn't know.
Correct. And things, absolutely.
And they take it even to the next level, more than what you was ever expecting. So
I always feel like there's a con, there's a pro. So.
Yin and yang. It happens. So do you think wealth should be earned or simply given? And I know this is a tricky question because we sacrifice so that we can build something. And if you have children, to pass it down. And now we're speaking from the vantage point that we have families. But there are people that build stuff that don't have families. Like immediate, like their own children, right?
Yeah.
So naturally, whatever they build, they would have to dole it out to whomever. Yeah, there's their own family. Do you think that it's better for someone to earn their wealth as opposed to being simply given to them?
I think there's value to earning for sure, because you understand and you value it more so because this is your hard work. You put the work into this, so you understand, like, this is what it took for me to do this. And then you can have an understanding of somebody. If you happen to be the beneficiary of something, you can understand the label behind that person gifting you something that they worked hard for, because you're working hard for your own. I think you should earn your own.
This is where it comes back to there needs to be conditions, especially if they're underage or just about to become of age, there has to be some type of level of you either getting an education, you starting a business, there's steps that needs to be in place to show that this is the direction you're going in order for you to get it, like the trust funds, where kids or young adults don't get in until they're 25 or 30, which usually comes with you have to go to college and things like that. So you have to have some type of level of hard work in order for me to give.
But
unless it's not giving it to you.
Like, is that enough? You need to get your degree, and that's all you need to do this, and that's all. Because they can easily go ahead and say, "I'm going to do this 4-year college, and I'm going to do it by the skin of my teeth. I'm just going to pass by the skin of my teeth because,
true,
I want to get this daggone money." That's what I'm like.
But at least but at least they followed the process. They followed the steps. Now, regardless if they don't do anything with it after they've done what you've asked, that's the risk in all of that.
That's on the
But the fact that they even went to college and passed and graduated and walked down the aisle shows some level of
discipline.
Now,
degree, even if they did it by the hair, the chinny chin chin.
Exactly. But not going to school or going and then finishing after a year and just drop out. No.
Yeah.
If they drop out, they can't get it. They have to now do something else to show me or to show that.
Well, you're not here anymore.
But see, this is where the conditions come in.
I get what you're saying.
I'm just not handing willing to anyone.
So I hear you. Yes, there's conditions. And I think that going to college and stuff like that could be a condition. But I also think to some degree that might be I'm not going to say a dated way of thinking because there's people that don't go to college.
They're straight up successful.
Or nothing, they may.
And they thought it's the way to be successful.
Exactly. Right. So then with that being said, what kind of conditions and you may need to think more on it, but what kind of conditions would a person put on it to make sure that you feel comfortable knowing I could give this person the money outside of just the educational piece, like getting a degree or something like that?
It didn't necessarily have to be a degree. Either you're going to go to college to get an education, or you have some type of plan in place to start a business. And it has to be steps in a process for you to follow to show that you're going to follow through with doing this. There's going to be conditions to me giving you this money. If they don't, and they need to do it within a certain time frame. Because I'm quite sure there'll be other people that you can pass it on to if they don't meet that right. If you fail to follow these requests, it's going to someone else. I'm putting conditions on it. Sorry, just not handing over stuff.
No, I hear you. I guess for me, the only condition, I have to think about this, but at the top of my head, the only condition I would probably have is, I just don't want anybody strung out on no drugs. Right? I'm not even considering weed. That to me is, even though people say it's a gateway drug, but there's people that have been smoking weed for years and ain't did nothing else. Not seen a line of whiteness or nothing. So stop. But so that to me, outside of that, but like hardcore drugs, like I cannot feel in good conscience pass something down for someone's doing something like that. But other than that, I'm trying to really think of conditions that I would put on, because my thing is, once I split it, honestly, I'm dead, right?
Yes.
So if I've passed the knowledge on and I've told you what to do and I'm giving you asses because this is what we're doing, you screw it up, that's on you. What can I do? I'm gone.
Because I feel like you're giving them everything at that point. You're giving them the knowledge. You're giving them the history behind how you even got to this point of earning this money. And hopefully, by them seeing you and hearing you, you're teaching them, they're going to have those same values anyways. Hopefully. I mean, everybody own individual people, right? But they're going to do what they're going to do.
They're going to do. Especially
after they satisfy the conditions, they're going to do what they want to do anyway.
But at least if there's conditions on it and they don't go to college or they don't do this, they don't get the money until they're 30. Now, by the time they're 30, they would have a different mindset.
Maybe.
Hopefully. But the potential or the risk of it going wrong is less as they get older.
Maybe.
There's no different than those trust funds. I'm not giving you this money until you're 30, 35 years old.
I'd rather go to my blood regardless So any family or shit that's a bit of danger meet your conditions.
It can get passed down to your kids if you don't do
if they don't have kids. Like if there's no place else for it to go, it's going to the government.
My family
It's going to the government.
Yeah, well, you
You gotta be very detailed. You gotta put it, if it don't, you gotta put, okay, if this person act up, then no, go this, and then this person, no, you gotta list all them people out.
But I mean, unfortunately, I'm not there.
don't
And I'm not saying I will never be there, but at this present moment, my resources are very limited. So what I have, I already have it stipulated, and is going to split out amongst how I have it split up. Now, if I come into some money and I get that lump sum payment, yeah, giving it to you at one lump sum, and you do what you will with it, because now all my kids are grown. If you decide to mess up that money, don't look for nothing when I die.
Yeah, I think that just passing on the knowledge too. I think that helps because you hear some wild story. I remember when we were really young when this happened. Was it Imelda Marcos? I forget which one it was. And she was the one with the shoes. I think was she Filipino? I'm not really sure, but she left all her stuff to like her cat or something. Didn't we? One of those like it was weird, but that's how
she didn't have children. Or did she have children?
I think so.
She did have.
I think I can't remember.
Was that the same thing with Morris the cat?
Morris the cat.
The non-lives cat. He had.
Well, it wasn't her. That wasn't. They're not connected.
No, I know that, but that's something similar to the non-lives cat. From my understanding, the person that started putting the cat in the commercials, all the money was under the cat's name. So it was like, it couldn't get passed on to nobody because
some people do that stuff.
So when the cat died, I think the money got donated. It didn't go to no one.
Yeah, that's when you must really not like your kids. If that happens, you don't trust them.
Warren Buffett said the same thing. He's not leaving none of his money to them.
Right, but
Bill Gates either.
Listen, at this point, you would think that they would already start to earn their own, right?
Yeah.
And they have a ton of money that they could just be donating to. I mean, the amount of Warren Buffett is worth, billions. He's billions of money. So, listen, I'm sure.
He said he's not leaving one red cent to them. So even if they have their own wealth, if he wanted to keep it in the family, I mean, not to give all of it to them, but he said he's not leaving one red dime.
Well, they got to
give it to his cats. No.
you got to figure it out.
I just can't see all of my hard-earned work, whether my kids choose to blow it or not, go to somebody that I have no relationship.
Yeah, they better not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, what we try to do is build enough wealth to generate enough assets for our future generations, right?
Yeah.
And
educate,
for them to be liberated and have their own agency over their own lives, right? So they don't have to deal with like maybe minimal struggle. Yes, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Now, but it requires your children to carry on that legacy, So that's my thought process on that.
A fun fact about generational wealth is that it can significantly impact not only financial stability, but also educational opportunities and social mobility. Studies have shown that families with generational wealth often have the means to invest in education, such as funding college tuitions or providing financial support for entrepreneurial endeavors, which is what I said. This creates a cycle where the next generation has improved access to resources, network, and opportunities, further enhancing their potential for success and the ability to build wealth that can be passed down. In fact, research indicates that families that prioritize financial literacy and wealth building strategies can significantly increase their chances of continuing their legacy across multiple generations.
Agreed. Yep. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
The education of it and the financial, from financial literacy down to just knowing that whoever you're leaving it to, they understand that dollars, even if it's dollars, any assets, they have to make sure that money makes money.
Yes,
that's what it boils down to. Each dollar should be a little soldier for you to go on and march on and make some more soldiers. So I think that's what it really boils down to.
Yeah. And some of the opinions here just align with everything we said. Pretty much is like leaving kids everything without financial education is setting them up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone deserves generational wealth. Some people were wasted in a week. They must have only got like $1,000. No. You could waste that in a day. Let's be serious. Sometimes starting from the bottom builds character. But I don't know always. I think character building happens just through teaching as you're bringing your kids up, Doesn't have to always start from the bottom. Giving your kids everything you didn't have can rob them of the hustle mindset. We don't want them to have that mindset. So
hold on. It's not, I want them to have enough hustle to get out there and get it.
To go,
but not struggle.
Right. That's
sometimes they gotta struggle a little bit to understand. Listen, unless when they're kids and they're so young, they don't understand. Like if it's given to them, they don't like.
Yeah, not trying to make it easy for them. Not trying to make it easy street for them.
Mm-hmm.
But to have the same level of struggle that we may have,
not the burnout.
Yes,
yeah. They have to have the drive.
They have to get out there and get it, and that takes some hustle and some drive behind that. But not
the struggle bus.
Yeah.
We don't want them on the struggle bus. Agreed. I guess my story time really boils down to this. I know too many people that have inherited assets and lost them, inherited businesses and ran them in the ground, inherited homes and lost them to not paying the taxes or taking out extra mortgages and can't pay them. So I think when we work so hard to pass these assets down, as I've been saying earlier in this podcast, is just really important, super important to teach them how to keep it. And after you gone, they're going to do what they're going to do. But at least you've not only passed the assets down, but you've educated them on, hey, this is how I got it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you need to do moving forward. And hopefully they can keep it going.
Don't mess it up because I will come and haunt you.
And on that note,
cheers.
Let us know what your thoughts are around generational wealth.